Hi, I'm the Book Tart, and I'd like to tell you about an urban fantasy series that I love. It's called Dark Dates, and I'm going to do a semi-random reading. I love to read out loud from books. I am the oldest of 4 girls, and I grew up reading to my sisters. I would read to them from Mary Stuart's Gothic romances. And who else? Gaston Leroux, who did The Phantom of the Opera. I would read to them The Perfume of the Lady in Black. So this is Dark Dates. It's by Tracey Sinclair, and Dark Dates is the first in her Cassandra Bick Chronicles. Now, Cassandra is a sensitive, so she has the paranormal gift of sensing hidden things about people, if they're telling the truth and how they really feel about something and what they really are. Sometimes she can tell. And so she knows about the supernatural beings, and she feels that they need a chance at love too. So Dark Dates is her dating agency for vampires. And yeah, I love that. So she's helping match up vampires with humans who are open to that possibility for a casual date or for something more serious if it works out. And she has mixers, and I think I admire her entrepreneurial spirit, and I admire her attitude toward the paranormal creatures. She looks at them as some are good and some are bad, just like with people. It just depends on, how you behave and how you treat other people. So it's not their species that makes them good or evil. It's how they choose to live that. So I really enjoy these books. I love the pop culture references in Dark Dates. I love how Cassandra watches the same shows I do. She's a Buffy fan and a Supernatural fan, and she talks about some comic books and superheroes, and she's not a superhero, and she doesn't have super-powered strength. So this scene I'm going to read to you is when she first meets Laclos, who is he's one of the big vampires in town in London, and she has been invited to meet him because there's some drama in Dark Dates. Some individuals are not happy with her her job in Dark Dates, and there's been some threats against her. So she meets Laclos. He gestured to one of the chairs and waited until I was seated before taking the one opposite me. "Can I have someone fetch you a drink? Some champagne, perhaps? Can they bring you a shirt?" He smiled at me. "Come, I can't do all the compromising." "Perhaps you could do some of the explaining," I paused. "And all right, I'll have a glass of champagne." Okay, that might not have been smart, but frankly, by this stage my mouth was a little dry, and I felt like I needed a drink. Barely had I spoken the words than some flunky appeared with a chilled glass filled to the brim, then disappeared into the shadows as quickly as he had arrived. Clearly, we weren't as alone as I'd thought. There must be rooms beyond this where they kept the non-Gothic furniture, and boring things like cupboards and fridges and washing machines. Judging from what I'd seen so far, they would go through a lot of laundry. If not for their clothing, then an awful lot of sheets. Champagne or not, I was sobered to think I didn't have a clue at how many vampires were actually in here. The one I was currently concerned with watched me curiously for a moment, then arranged his features into friendliness. "So you're Cassandra Bick?" "Apparently so." "Do you know the legend of Cassandra?" he asked mildly. "She was doomed by the gods to be able to see the future, but for no one to ever believe her prophecies. Imagine the torment of always knowing the truth, but never being able to communicate it." I shrugged. "Well, not really a problem for me, since most of the time I have enough trouble understanding the present, like what's happening now, for instance, or knowing who I'm talking to." "Ah, my apologies. I'm Laclos." "Of course you are. Louise and Lestat being taken." He shrugged, a half smile, either unbothered by my sarcasm or planning to eviscerate me. I really couldn't tell. Yes, I adore Cassandra. So I was rooting for her through this entire book, and eagerly reading the sequels. So I'll definitely tell you about the next 2 books, stories I've read, and the Cassandra book world. And if you like urban fantasy and enjoy a heroine who's independent and brave and snarky and smart, and there's love interest in here, but that's not the focus of the story. The story's on Cassandra. So, Dark Dates by Tracey Sinclair. If you want to hear more, go pick up the book.